So who are you?
I am Mark Desjardins. I am a third-year business student at Acadia University from Peterborough, Ontario.
So it's day 4 of the strike. I'm just wondering what you think of it so far.
So far it's been pretty relaxed, good for socializing, meeting up with friends, having some drinks. Normally I've been going to bed late, waking up late, just go to lacrosse practice in the afternoon, go to the gym, just keep up with some readings, and that's been my days, just try and keep up with the work and have some fun at it.
Do you think it was ethical for the faculty to have gone on strike?
I don't know the full situation from both sides, both sides, you always get two sides of the story and they both get portrayed different ways, but I mean, I support my teachers if that's what they need. I guess it's over salary, and if that's what they need to keep teaching, then I hope they get it settled out soon, and yeah, I support them all the way.
Right on. Last question, do you have anything else to say about the strike to whoever may be listening?
About the strike, just, I don't know about the people who's been listening, but hopefully it doesn't go on too long, A lot of people are worried about our term getting canceled, but hope that doesn't happen. As long as it doesn't go on for too much longer, we catch up with our work, get done exams on time, everyone gets home, there's no harm done, and have a good time while it lasts.
Well, thank you, Mark.
No problem. Thank you, Jeremy.
So, who are you?
I'm Crystal French. I already have a Bachelor of Music degree here from Acadia, and I'm in my last year of a Bachelor of Business.
Alright, so it's day 4. I'm just wondering what you think of the strike so far.
Well, I kind of had an inclination that was going to happen back in the spring when I found out that the contract was up for renewal. I was here for the first strike, and even though it was resolved, I still kind of felt some tension, some resentment, not really good communication after it was over. So when I found out that the contract was up for renewal again, I kind of anticipated this was going to happen.
You two have gone on strike?
If you had asked me my first degree, I would have said no, given my experience here, my first degree. But now, especially where I work on campus and I see more than inner workings to extent, I'd say yes for sure, that they certainly have the right to stand up for what they deserve. But there's going to have to compromises on both sides for sure to reach a mutual agreement.
Any last final thoughts about the strike to anyone who may be listening?
I couldn't believe it when I found out that the president had left the country. Something one of my friends said. I don't know if you want his name quoted, but he said her going to China is like mowing the lawn when the house is on fire type of situation. She may be able to recruit some people over there, but what about everyone here? What about the atmosphere, the general culture of the university, the good feelings that people should be having, confidence in their leader, in a manner of speaking. So that was definitely a surprise for me.
Well, thank you, Crystal. So who would you be?
I'm Scott Roberts. I'm Director of Communications at Acadia.
All right, so it's day 4. The negotiations broke down last night. I'm just wondering what you think of the strike in general.
Well, it's a very difficult time for students. It's a very anxious time for parents. It's certainly an anxious time for everyone else on campus, faculty and staff, and it's never a pleasant thing to see a picket line in front of a university.
Do you think it was ethical for the faculty to go on strike and form that picket line?
Well, in fact, they have the right to do so. Labor law allows them to do so. It allows them to exercise a number of other job actions up to and including a strike, and in fact their membership gave them that power. So under everything that is fair about the system in which we negotiate collective agreements, absolutely, it was ethical. It is their right, and they have the ability to do so. And
there's no time limit to how long they can stay on strike, right?
That's correct. There's no time limit in the sense that it puts pressure on both sides really to make a deal, and that's the way the collective bargaining system is set up, and that's the way strike protocols work in terms of the labor codes.
Do you have any other final comments to say about the strike to whoever may be listening?
My only final comment is that we all hope that it ends as quickly as possible. This is a very, very important issue for us to solve for Acadia's reputation, and certainly for the students who are here on our campus, and and want to get back into class.
And finally, Scott, if I was to talk to other admin people, would I be allowed to interview them directly like I did you right now?
Sure. Our administration people are on campus. They're coming to work every day, and if they're willing to talk to you, it's their call, and it certainly would be in their hands.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Here, Scott, I've had a lot of feedback from students and various people about Gail being in China. She's away for this crucial time. Can you address this issue?
Sure. I'm actually very happy to do that. Gail is in China for 10 days. She left on Sunday. It's a trip that's been 4 months in the planning. She's meeting with senior government education officials throughout China, with the CEOs and presidents of universities and colleges there, many of whom send students to Acadia. And of course, there's an intense cultural sensitivity that we all have to have to the impact a last-minute cancellation would have on our long-term relationship with China and with the students who come from China. The notion that you could just cancel a trip like that at the last minute it just doesn't work. It could impair our ability to recruit students from China for a very, very long time. I've been in touch with Gail several times since she arrived. I know she's been in touch with the negotiating team here. She has a negotiating team that's working on her behalf here. She's not a member of the negotiating team itself. She doesn't need to be here for it. The teams work fairly independently inside the parameters that they've been given. But she has already secured placements for our education students with schools in China. She's already secured additional students who would come to Acadia from China as applicants and as admissible students. So she's done an enormous amount of work, and she's laying the groundwork for a very, very solid long-term future for Acadia in terms of our relationship with China.
Well, I know it was 4 months in planning, and the timing of this couldn't be any worse. Right. But there's a perception out there that she's gone, she doesn't care, she's not really fighting for a job beyond a year and a half. Did she at all wrestle with this decision to go or stay?
Well, she absolutely did. But the other thing that's very important for people to understand as well is that the negotiating between the university and the faculty association was very, very, very active in the week leading up to her departure, which was immediately following the Board of Governors meeting in convocation. And there was I think, a great deal of optimism here that a deal could be reached. And it is unfortunate at the last minute we could not reach a deal that would have prevented the strike. But it was indeed, it was a very, very tough decision. But at the end of the day, out of respect for the people who have invested an enormous amount of time in China setting the trip up for her, and it's important to add as well that her trip is being paid for by the people from China that she's meeting with. It's not being paid for by Acadia. And so it would have been an incredible insult and would have demonstrated enormous cultural insensitivity on her part to have canceled at the last minute. And as I say, she's in regular contact. I spoke with her a couple of times myself yesterday, 3 or 4 times the day before, and she's been in contact with the negotiating team. And so, technology being what it is, it's very easy to remain in touch.
And she comes back next week, Thursday?
She's actually back on Wednesday.
Okay. Well, thank you once again.
Not a problem.